Welcome back. Previously, we were discussing about construction of financial statement, mainly balance sheet, on the basis of ratios and additional information given in the question. And we have discussed one case regarding that. Today, we will discuss further cases regarding the same scenario. Next case. Question. From the following information, you are asked to prepare a balance sheet. In the question, current liabilities 1 lakh, reserves and surplus 50,000, bills payable 40,000, debtors 35,000, current ratio 1.75, assets ratio 1.15, fixed assets to proprietors fund ratio is 0.75, ratio of fixed assets to current assets 3, and additional information it is said that current assets of the firm consist of debtors, stock, and cash. Firm does not have any long-term liabilities. A similar question which we have discussed previously. Here in the information, it is said that current assets of the firm consist of debtors, stock, and cash. In the previous case, I have said that if you have current assets rupees 1 lakh and in the question it is given cash is 50,000, the balance amount will be 50,000 and you can name whatever you like. But in this question it is specifically said that current assets include debtors, stock, and cash. So when in the question it is specifically specified regarding each item that has to be come under each head, mainly in this case current assets. Try to use these terms instead of assuming various items. Remember that concept. So, how we are going to start? And previously I have said that whenever you come across this question, try to link any of the amount with any of the ratios given in the question. In this question, current ratio is given, and in the question it is directly said that current liability is 1 lakh, so it is easy to find current asset. So from that you can begin the case. We know current ratio is current asset divided by current liability. In the question, current ratio is given 1.75, current assets we don't know. Current liability is already given in the question, rupees 1 lakh. So you can easily find the amount of current asset, rupees 1,75,000. Next you have to do is try to find as many items that comes under each head. So in the next information given in the question is liquid ratio or acid test ratio is 1.15. See, in this question it is said acid test ratio is 1.15. So on the basis of that ratio and these informations given in the question, you can easily find liquid assets. As we have did the same step in the previous question, liquid ratio or acid test ratio is liquid asset divided by current liability. Acid test ratio is given in the question 1.15 equal liquid assets we don't know. Current liabilities is already given in the question 1 lakh. So you can easily find liquid asset 1,15,000. So now you have current assets and liquid asset 1,15,000. And in the question it is given that debtors is rupees 35,000. So as we have did in the previous case, it is easy to find stock. Just deduct current assets from liquid asset, you will get stock. In the question, debtors is given 35,000. So the balance amount will be cash. And how we are going to find the amount of cash? Current assets we already found 1,75,000. From current assets, if you deduct stock 60,000 and debtors which is given in the question 35,000, you will get cash 80,000. See, we have current asset 1,75,000. Out of 1,75,000, deduct stock 60,000 and 35,000, which is given in the question. You will get rupees 80,000 balance. And in the question it is said that current assets include cash, stock, debtors. So the remaining 80,000 is considered as cash. That's how you need to find various sub items that comes under various sets. Here it is the question, current assets you have found, from the current asset you have found the stock, cash and the debtors, which is already given in the question. I hope you are following the concept. Next we will discuss about next one, fixed assets. In the question it is said that ratio of fixed assets to current assets is 3. We already know the amount of current assets, so you can easily find the amount of fixed assets. So ratio of fixed assets to current assets is fixed assets divided by current assets, because equation is ratio of fixed assets to current assets. So fixed asset divided by current asset. And ratio of fixed assets to current asset is 3. 3 equal fixed assets we don't know, divided by current asset we just found in the previous slide. So you will get fixed assets 5,25,000. Next one, proprietors fund. In the question it is said that fixed assets to proprietors fund is 0.75. And we just found the amount of fixed assets. So you can easily find the amount of proprietors fund. So fixed assets to proprietors fund is fixed asset divided by proprietors fund. 0.75 equal to fixed asset we just found previously, divided by proprietors fund we don't know. So you can easily find the amount of proprietors fund, that is rupees 7 lakh. Next, share capital. I hope you all know why we went for share capital, because we already found proprietors fund, and in the question it is said that reserves and surplus is 50,000. And we have did the same step in the last question. Share proprietors fund means share capital plus reserves and surplus. We already found proprietors fund 7 lakh equal share capital we are going to find plus reserves and surplus, you will get share capital 6,50,000. Try to find as many items that comes under each head. That is the concept of doing this problem. Next item, creditors. Why we are going for creditors? We have done the same step in the last question, because in the question current liability 1 lakh is given and bills payable is 40,000. So out of current liability 1 lakh, bills payable is 40,000. So it is quite natural the remaining amount will be creditors. That's how we are finding the each item that comes under various sets. So sundry creditors is current liabilities minus bills payable. We already in the question it is already given current liability 1 lakh and bills payable is 40,000. You will get sundry creditors 60,000. So you have found current assets, liquid assets, stock, cash, fixed assets, proprietors fund, share capital and sundry creditors. Now on the basis of details given, you can prepare a balance sheet. Balance sheet of certain concern as per the date specified in the question. The items can be substituted like this. First one, share capital 6,50,000. So on the basis of details given in the question and on the basis of amounts you have computed, you just substitute the various items. Share capital is 6,50,000. We already computed 6,50,000. Next, reserves and surplus is 50,000. Just substitute the 50,000 here. Next one, current liabilities. We already found current liability. Current liability is already given in the question, 1 lakh, and bills payable is also given. So you found creditors. So try to split each items that comes under various heads. So current liabilities, under current liabilities, current creditors 60,000 and bills payable is 40,000. Bills payable is already given in the question. Next one, fixed assets, rupees 5,25,000. Just substitute the same in the asset side. Next heading, current assets. We already found current assets 1,75,000. Instead of writing this 1,75,000, try to split each items. Stock 60,000. Stock 60,000. Debtors is already given in the question, 35,000. Cash we have found, so just substitute the same in the balance sheet. And while computing, we found that there is a difference of 1 lakh rupees in the right side or the asset side of the balance sheet, and how we are going to deal. In this case, since there is no further information or computation is there in this question or in the computation part, we can assume that the remaining 1 lakh is considered as miscellaneous expenditure, because in the question there is no information regarding miscellaneous expenditure or any computation regarding rupees 1 lakh. So just assume that the remaining or the difference that comes in the asset side is considered as miscellaneous expenditure. So whenever you come across this type of question, and if you find any difference in the asset side and there is no information regarding what name has to be given for the difference, just assume the remaining or the difference amount that comes under asset side is considered as miscellaneous expenditure. Sometimes in the question they may give that if you find any difference in the asset side, you have to give specific name that may be specified in the question. If such information is given, just follow like that. If there is no information is given in the question and you found a difference of certain amount in the asset side, just give miscellaneous expenditure as the name for the difference amount. So you may come across problems like this where you sometimes have to assume the name for various differences amount. And remember, usually you may given questions in which there will not be any differences, and any coming of any differences may be quite rare. So it doesn't mean that if you find any difference in asset side, it means you have to give name. First of all, just go through all the cases and make sure you didn't brought any careless mistakes. If you come across any careless mistake, try to rectify it. And even after doing all these steps very cautiously and carefully, if you get any difference, you can give this name. And otherwise, if you're getting any difference, first of all, remember, just go through all these steps. There may be any differences in your computations. That is the main reason for the difference. If you find any difference and there is no careless mistakes in your question, you can give miscellaneous expenditure as a name for that difference. I hope you understand the concept. Just go through it. If you have any doubts, just contact me. That's all for today. Thank you.